So you do your last 2 years at University of North Alabama.
Yeah, yeah.
So at what? Well, actually, so you just mentioned that your first year over here in Europe was in 2009, and I remember that because I was in Kiel at the time, and I remember you came over later on. You came over mid-season.
Yeah, mid-season.
You came over mid-season.
Yeah.
How come? Like, how come you didn't come in the beginning? Like, what was going on before you came over?
Okay, after, it was like I wanted to finish college or whatever,
right?
And also, but things didn't work out, or whatever, financially. So for me, in the beginning, you have to rewind a little bit. In the beginning of 2008, this is when we are in our camps, training camps or whatever, and then we had a few scouts coming to our practices, from the NFL. Mm-hmm. We had, I think, a few. I know New York Giants, New York Jets. I think Tampa Bay was there. Maybe another 2 or 3 more teams used to come and talk to us, and but it was unofficial though. It wasn't official. So, and no, it was official. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was official. And and I got to talking to them and New York Giants, and I was talking to the scout from New York Giants, and they said they seen my film and they liked the way I play or whatever as a returner, also as a running back, and it seemed that I was pretty quick, but. Yeah, but they were just hoping that I have a great season that's coming up for the 2008 season, mm-hmm. And so I did a good job, especially in kickoff return. I think I was like number 11, number 12 in that year in kickoff return, averaging like 26, 27 yards per carry on the kickoff return, mm-hmm. which is pretty good. You always want to have 25 yards per carry on kickoff return. Mm-hmm. I had, I think, around 26, 27. So 2009, this is when the pro days is coming for me.
Right.
And for me, like I said, for the financial part, I had to, drop out of school or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I dropped out of school, take a chance, and this is where life begins for me, about chances, taking chances, mm-hmm. Finding my way. And so I took a chance, and I wanted to try for our pro day.
Right.
The problem was our head coach, he had left or whatever. He went to Mississippi State actually, mm-hmm. And our head coach went to Mississippi State. So the old offensive coordinator had taken over our pro day for North Alabama. Mm-hmm. So I went to I dropped out of school to start training in Montgomery, Alabama, with I had a friend, and he was down there in Montgomery as well. Mm-hmm. He was becoming a lawyer there, and so we was while he was doing his thing, trying to become a lawyer, I was trying to get fit, get right, make sure I was good for our pro day.
Right.
So long story short, I didn't do a pro day because the offensive coordinator told me that our pro day was on one day and it was at another college or whatever, and I think he told me that it was going to be at Alabama A&M. Mm-hmm. So I'm in Montgomery or whatever, getting ready for the pro day. So I'm getting ready for the pro day. I feel good. I've been training. And then I'm thinking that on a certain day that I have to go back to Alabama and A&M. Mm-hmm. And so I get a call from one of my friends. And I was like, he asked me how I'm doing or whatever. I'm like, I'm good, bro. I'm getting ready for this pro day, man. I feel good. I'm fast. Mm-hmm. I'm strong or whatever, man. And he's like, yeah, man, sound good, but bro, we already did our pro day. And I'm like, what? I was like, why no one told me? He was like, yeah, man, the coaches didn't want everyone to come. I'm like, why? Like, this is, I don't understand, mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, man, only like 5 or 6 of us only only came to the pro day. I'm like, man, it's crazy. So I was like, man, that's really crazy. He was like, yeah, man, it was at Troy State.
Okay.
And Troy State is in the South. Montgomery, Alabama is also in the South. Montgomery is like maybe 20 minutes away from Troy State.
Wow.
So I'm like, it was in Troy State? No one told me. I'm training right here in Montgomery, and it's only 20 minutes away from where I'm training at, And he's like, yeah, bro, I'm sorry about that. I'm like, come on, bro. Dang. So the next day, I'm pretty hurt or whatever, And the next day, I get another call from another guy that played running back also from North Alabama. And he was like, yo, I heard about what happened, man. It's crazy. Also New York Giants, they just asked where you were, where were you, for the pro day, because they was at the pro day too at Troy. I'm like, come on, man, for real? Like, this could have been my chance. Maybe it was a small chance, but it's my chance to, at least show them what I can do.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, man, I'm sorry to hear about it, man, but yeah, man, they was asking about it. So I'm like, shit, it's crazy, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. So maybe I'll go back to work or something, just, live a regular 9-to-5 job. And then, a few weeks later, I get a message from a guy named Tim Hunt. He also played at North Alabama, but he was a year before me, and he's been in Austria, playing ball in Austria at Swarco Raiders.
Okay.
At the time, I didn't know nothing about Europe football. Like, it's nothing. I don't know nothing about it. So he messaged me. He was like, "Yo, bro, yeah, I mean, I heard about what happened. That's messed up, but man, you can come to Europe and play football, man. It's a team right now in Germany. They looking for a running back." I'm like, what? Like American football in Germany? Like, come on, man. And he was like, yeah. He's like, bro, you would love it over here, man. I promise you. And I'm like, all right. I was like, okay. He was like, yo, I'm gonna get you in contact with this agent. So he got me in contact with this agent.
Yeah.
You may know him, Yon Shani.
Nah.
Yon Shani. Okay. So he got me in contact with Yon Shani, and he told me about this team in Berlin. He's a running back. So I was like, okay, let's take a chance, man, and let's come over here to Germany, man. So at first I didn't believe it until he sent me the flights. My first time flying, and
first time flying, first time leaving the country.
Yeah, exactly, man. And so I took a chance over here, man, and came over here. Been in Berlin in 2009. Yeah, won a championship, and that's how the life started. In 2009, man.
And now that you mention that, I think I remember running into you in Berlin.
Yeah.
That was before we knew each other.
Yeah.
And that was before we played against each other.
Right.
Too. Because I was in Berlin, just visiting Berlin. That was 2009.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing, I remember, I ran into both of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing that was Tim then, because I remember he said he played for Swarco. I'm like, what's Swarco?
Right.
He just said he played in Austria.
Yeah.
Was he like a D lineman type dude?
D lineman.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, 'cause I remember he was a little bit bigger.
Yeah, defensive end.
Yeah, I think it was at the train. It was at Central Station. It was at Central Station, and I was getting something to eat, and I think I heard y'all speaking English, and I might have asked y'all where y'all was from or something like that.
Yeah.
And then we started talking like that, and I was like, yeah, I play football. He's like, oh yeah, I play football too.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, I play for Berlin. I was like, okay, well, we gonna play against each other.
We gonna play. Yeah. We gonna play soon. So.
Yeah. That's still a small world. Like we don't even know each other.
Man.
And I run into you at the train station, then we end up playing against each other. Then later we end up playing on the same team.
Exactly. Crazy, man.
But so when you got to Berlin, when you got to Europe, of course, the first time, what was your mindset when you got here? Were you like, did you have the mindset, okay, I'm come over here, get some video, and I'm going back?
Yeah. My mindset was like, look, I talked to my friend. His name is Preston. He was the guy that I was with in Montgomery. He was the lawyer or whatever.
Right.
He's from the lawyer. So me and my friend Preston, we talked about it. He's like, look, man, just try to get some film, man. Dominate over there. Do what you need to do. and come back with the film, man. Make sure you highlight it good, so you can at least go to Canada, NFL, anything. You know, you're still young, so yeah, just try to get some film, man. So yeah, and that's what I try to do. You know, so.
So when you got here, I'm sure you did. So what kind of culture shock did you experience? I know you had to experience some.
Oh man, it was crazy. Like especially being in Berlin. Yeah, just a lot of partying.
A lot of partying.
Parties, crazy. A lot of young and wild, you know. And for me, it's like, I was young, but, I didn't know it was, like Berlin was pretty crazy, man. So, and they party every day. You know, you can go somewhere and something is going on in Berlin. So I would say, for me, it was pretty, and also multicultural. I'm from Alabama, so I'm not used to seeing all of these multicultural people all together, and seeing people from Turkey or from Brazil or all this. I'm like, this is crazy. Beautiful people, but like, it's crazy, man. It's really crazy. So the culture shock was pretty big on me. So
okay. So just to go through it real quick. So 2009, you were in Berlin.
Yeah.
Then 2010, you were still in Berlin, the Rebels. That's when you played together with Rory.
Right.
2011, Blue Devils. That's when we played together. 2012, Dusseldorf.
Yeah, 2012, Dusseldorf.
Right, and then 2013, you came to Braunschweig.
Yeah.
And traditionally, Braunschweig, the Lions, of course, traditionally they have a tradition of winning championships. But before you got here, I think the last time they won a championship was 2008.
Yeah, 2008.
So you came in 2013.
Yeah.
But knowing this tradition of Braunschweig and having played against them, while you played in Berlin.
Yeah.
What were your first expectations when you got here?
In Braunschweig?
Yeah. I mean, you made it to the team.
Yeah, man. Just I don't know. Just to try to build. Actually, I really didn't know too much. People told me about the Braunschweig Lions at the time, how good they were. From the past, from 2000, 2004, they won championships, been to the championships a lot. So it was, it's very traditional here. But like you said, like back in 2009, we always beat Braunschweig most of the time. So, but then, 2013, I got here, and it was just, I think ever since 2008, ever since 2009, they was on a losing streak. Or whatever.
Yeah, that was my first year over here. And that's how I got to know them too. Like
exactly.
They had the history, but once I got here, they weren't really that good in my eyes.
Exactly.
I didn't know the history. I just knew the teams I played against.
Yeah, that's what we seen. So, but back in 2013, actually you have to rewind a little bit with the 2012 after Dusseldorf.
Yeah.
Me and a few more players, we just said, hey man. Because it had like a lot of disagreements in Dusseldorf from the players and some people from the organization about different goals, I guess you can say. And so me and some of the other players, we were like, hey man, let's go to Braunschweig, and they was like, yeah man, why not? Let's go, man. They used to winning, so I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. They're like, yeah man, they good, they used to be good, man. Let's try to build something there. So I think it was at the time it was like between 5 to 7 of us went to Dusseldorf, and then also with Coach Tomlin and Likens being there. At the time, I didn't know Likens and Coach Tomlin, but some of the players told me that Coach Tomlin was the coach back then, back in the early 2000s, and they was winning championships at the time. Also, I think he was there also in the late 90s too, and until he went back to the States, and now he's back again, back in 2013, and I was like, okay, I don't know who Coach Tomlin is, but hey, let's go, let's find out. He's an American, he should know his football, so let's work, man. So yeah, man, that's how the mindset was at the time, back in 2013, just try to build something.
What was that team like when you got there?
Looking back at it now, it was, bro, we was individually, we wasn't that good. We was okay, but we wasn't that good. But the thing was, I would say that year was one of the best years because we truly built something. We did not know who we were at the time. Everyone was different. Like I said before, you already had the Braunschweigers here. You had a few players from Dusseldorf, like me and other guys. Coach Tomlin, Coach Likens came, and also like I said, other players came, and Coach Likens, Coach Tomlin brought players too here as well. And man, we didn't know nothing. We were just trying to build something. We were trying a lot of things, and and we will win, but we will win very close. And that year, it was like, it's something special here. We don't know what it is, but it's something very special here. And we stayed with each other, and we became something special at the end of the season. And man, just that year, the mindset was just trying to find ways to build and win. And that's what we did.
And y'all definitely did win. Y'all ended up winning the German Bowl 2013, 14, 15, 16. So y'all definitely built something. And then the Euro Bowl, what, 17, 18, 19?
I think 15 too, was it? 15, 16, 17, and 19. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But anyway, y'all built something.
Y'all
definitely built something. So
yeah, man, it was great. So.
Yeah, I mean, but if you just up to this point, if you look at your journey, you talked about taking a chance. You took a chance. You came over here. Your first season, German Bowl MVP. Then you end up in Braunschweig.
Yeah.
I think a couple of German Bowls there, a couple of Euro Bowls there. Also a Finals MVP while you were there. So and you end up playing from 2009 up until last year, 2019. So 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. 10 championships and 2 Finals MVPs. So when you came over here, I know your mindset was like, okay, I'm getting this film and I'm getting out of here. I'm trying to make it to the league, Canadian Football League or the NFL, but I'm sure you didn't really imagine that you would come over here and have this type of success.
Right.
Because you were thinking about success, but you were thinking about success being geared towards another league, not in Europe. So how was that, or how is that for you? Just when you look back on it, I remember. I mean, before we started the interview today, you was like, you didn't really, you don't really think about how many championships you won. But now that I've mentioned it a few times, I'm sure it's popping into your mind. Like, okay, I really did do that stuff. So what is that? What is that like for you? Just to look at where you started and then what you have achieved up to this point.
Man, it's what I think, man, is just for me, it's like, wow. Like you said, like we talked about it before the interview. It's like, man, I can't believe it. It's crazy to have 10 championships here overall. Here in Europe, and supposedly being one of the best here in Europe as well, and also having the record, having first running back to have 10,000 yards. Like I think I'm number 1 in touchdowns in the German Bowl now. Just other little things, and for me, it's kind of like a wow, man. This is crazy because, like you said, my goal was to, get back to NFL. 'Cause this is what I know. This is what I love. In America, or get to the Canada football. And but here is like I said before, after I took that chance, it was about building, and that's what I've done. It's good that I won a lot of championships and have a lot of individual things too as well. But it's about building, for me, and I'm happy to be part of something for Germany, for Europe, in this American football world, and to help build this thing any way possible, man. So, yeah.